videos just to give advice on how to play the game. So when I started getting people in the chat and the video, I started explaining what I'm talking about. Right now I'm just going through the mission.
Dr. Charles sent you? Thank God. Swamp Thing went ahead of us. Something happened. I think he's been affected by Poison Ivy's toxin. We've got an antigen, but we need you to place the dispensers around the area. My boys will come in and set them to release the fumes. That should weaken him enough to help you against him. Just keep my crew safe so they can do their job. Once he's neutralized, we can administer liquid form antigen directly into his system. Good luck.
The power of the green now serves Poison Ivy. You will become fertilizer for her children.
watching. So basically, the reason why I'm having this video right now is to pretty much give advice on how to actually do this game. Pretty much, like, what I'm getting at is take your time when you're playing it. There's never really a rush to get everything, because eventually, when you play it throughout the game, you're gonna get what you want. It takes time. Sometimes you don't get everything all at once. And once you play throughout with people in the league or people that are just random groups and stuff like parades, duel, like war players, you eventually get through everything. It's just on how you play. So what I mean by that, playing is take your time with it. Complete the dailies, complete all the missions and stuff like that, raids, and then every Thursday we have a reset every week. So everything resets completely. So it gives you the opportunity to kind of make up for what you missed. So just work on that and you'll get what you want. Just don't expect everything all at once, because it's not going to happen. Basically, you have to constantly play the content more than at least 20 times, 100 times, depending on what it is. Like, for example, style feeds. There's drops on gear that come out. It's green, blue, purple. It's green, purple. No, yeah, it's green, purple, blue. No, sorry. It's green, blue, purple, and then yellow. And then elite gear. So there's 5 different types of gear that you get. But throughout the time that you're doing that, this is my recommendation for your gear sets. So I recommend you have 3 armories. And the way you get armories is to go to your marketplace, because they give you one free. Go to the marketplace if you want to do it this way. It's a choice, but you don't really have to. This is how I do it. You go to base items on the marketplace, scroll down until you get to armories. You either can buy single ones or packing. I recommend just buying one individually, because you don't really need 3, you don't need 4, you don't need 6, you don't need none of that. All you really need is 3. So the way I do it to kind of make sure that I get the most out of my character is I have one for my DPS and one for my tank. And each power has 2 different roles. So that's the role that I have for my fire tank / DPS. I focus on my skill points on my character. I focus on splitting the best gear possible, so that way it can balance out my character's full potential. So what I do is anything that's second best to the point where to upgrade my character, I always put it to my DPS. So when I go to my character, all this gear is pretty much the 3rd best gear you can get. So this is purple. Okay. So all the purple gear, I'm gonna just directly put it to my DPS. So that way I can kind of manage to use more burn than I usually can. And anything that's OP gear, anything that's like really strong gear, I'm gonna just automatically just switch to my tank, because that's my main goal. So I focus on that, and then make sure that he has all the updates, all the upgrades, everything. And when it comes to artifacts and objects, my recommendation for that is to make sure that they're all kind of balanced. You never want an artifact stronger than the others. Like, for example, all my artifacts are 160, but before I did max out all my 9 artifacts, I made sure that I have them balanced. So as you upgrade them and as you update them throughout the game and stuff like that, this is the best way. Let me go to my base. Actually, no. Let me go to Washington. And I appreciate you watching, man. Thank you. And Thanks for the other viewer that just came in. Thank you, appreciate it. I'm just gonna give you advice on how to play the game, how to manage your time, how to not spend so much money, and how to kind of, figure out what to do on a daily basis. So there's every mission in the game, right? There's every different teleporters, there's every different mission for every DLC that's came out lately. So what I'm getting at is do all the dailies, do all the missions that you necessarily need for those points, and to make sure that you can get the best out of it. If you complete the dailies, if you complete all the raids, all the 8-player and 4-player and duos, what I'm gonna tell you right now is kind of just do something else. Like if you like playing Grand Theft Auto, Call of Duty, other games, the games that just came out, Mortal Kombat, whatever it is, do that. You know what I mean? Because like if you really kind of completed like what you can do at the moment, don't kind of pressure yourself if you really kind of don't know what to do. Like if you're kind of frustrated, like you can't get skill points, blah blah blah, or feats from a mission, from a raid. Yeah, it's a struggle, but eventually you will come across it with a good group that will complete it with you. You know what I mean? Like there's always that day that you will never get it, but there could be next week or next tomorrow that you will come across a group that will help you complete your mission. You know what I mean? So what I'm saying is complete all your dailies, complete all your duels, your 4-player and all that, so you can get all your credit, so you can get your gear. You know? So when it comes to stabilizers, every day the stabilizer factory, or let me see, yeah, stabilizer fragmentation, that resets every day. If you're legendary, you get 6. If you're premium and you just play free to play and really don't want to spend money, you get 3. And that's another thing too. You don't necessarily have to put money in the game. It's just on how you manage your time, because that's the big key of the game. My league is chill as hell. Like everybody in my league does their own thing. They don't play whenever they play whenever they want. I don't instruct them and tell them what to do, how to play the game constantly, because it kind of takes the fun out of the game. We're rogues, so we do it as we please. We play whenever we want. Sometimes we don't have time to play video games. Sometimes we have to take care of priorities. So that's what I'm saying. Just kind of manage your time. Don't kind of rush things. When you're spending money just to get an accomplishment or achievements, you're just pretty much wasting time. You know what I mean? Saying, you always will come across it. It's just sometimes people like me. I spend money on the game because I actually want to invest in this and actually want to make sure this game stays um, active. You know what I mean? Like more. Uh, I want to sponsor the game basically. I wanna contribute because I like this game so much. I've been playing this since 2012. The first time I played this, the first 2 years, I had no idea what to do. Nobody told me what to do. Nobody gave me advice. Nobody told me anything. Nobody taught me how to mod my gear. Nobody told me that I couldn't mix my roles. And that's another thing too that some people that are new that make a mistake on. You're not supposed to mix your roles. So you have a tank and a DPS for your role. You want to make sure that when you have the armories that I just showed you, that I can switch. Yeah, let me go to the base now. Oh, and another thing. Every time you get those new points that they just got, they don't call them marks of victory anymore. They call them. What do they call them? Source mark? Yeah. Okay, so throughout the game, you're gonna come across doing all those dailies and missions, and you come across this diamond gold looking, I guess, currency. And so what I was talking about, the artifacts. Each level of the artifact, there's level 20, level 40, 60, 80, 100, 120, 140, and 160. And the best way for me to tell you how to do it, save all your inf metal. Save it all. So every time that you get to need to update your artifacts, you would basically want to do it this way. Like for example, okay, so you see how like all my artifacts are leveled up. I've been doing this for a long time, so this is maxed out. This is maxed out. My sodas are maxed out, and you see this one, right? For example, I don't use this because this is for controller, so there's no need for me to update this. But this one, I'm working on it. This one is pretty much for my supply drops. I'm not sure if I really want to use it, but this is just an example. So you see how they're all 160? It's because these are artifacts I'm going to use for my DPS in my tank and my PvP gear. But when it comes to this, let's say all these were 100, not 160. Let's say all these 4 or 3 collections right here, these artifacts were, let's say, 100. I would make sure that they're all catching up to one another. I didn't want one of them to be 160 and then the other one's 80. You know what I mean? Because then it doesn't make you as powerful as you want to be. It doesn't give you the boost that you're looking for. So what I recommend is making sure everything is balanced. So let's say the 3 artifacts are 100, right? Let's say they're all 100, not 160 or 105. Let's say that. I leveled this one up. And then let's say it's 107, right? I level it up, I upgrade it. Then I'll go to my other artifact and get it to 107 too. You know what I mean? Like I balance it out so that way it doesn't overlap one another. That way they're at the same level. So when it comes to the augment system, that is basically armor based. Let me see. Sorry, trying to get to clear. Okay, so these are all basically armor based. So it all relies to your gear. It all relies to your resets. So to this point, you want to make sure that these augments is matching towards your role. So this is all dominance, and then this is for my tank. All this is maxed out. There's nothing that I need to update. Same with my DPS. All this, hold on. Yeah, all this is maxed out. There's nothing that I need to update. But you see how this is might is because I'm power based DPS for my fire. You know what I mean? So everything that I get for this is just gonna max out my gear, so I can kind of max out my potential for my character. And then when it comes to PvP, I didn't get to that point yet. But when it comes to PvP, win or lose, every time you enter an arena, every time you fight somebody, like in the PvP phase, on those matches, here I'll go to one. Those arenas, PvP arenas, or legend PvP, you'd always get points, win or lose, and they're always free. You don't have to reset this. This is the only real part that in the game that is actually really free. So, for my advice to tell you is save your points. You start at 96 for PvP gear, and it ends at 101. Okay. So what I'm getting at is take your time with this. There's no need to rush. There's no need to kind of make sure that you don't have to get to the point where everybody's at, because eventually you will come across that level. It's just a matter of how patient you are and then how often you play the game. Like I said, once you complete all the dailies, like the missions that are reset every day, because the missions that reset every day are the duels, dailies, and the 4-player raids. That's it. The 8-player raids, they reset every Thursday. So there's really no need to necessarily just pay for your replay badges unless you want to update quicker, like me. Like I like to make sure that I'm up to date, you know, because I want to invest in that. So you want to make sure that you spend your time wisely. You don't really have to spend so much money. And for the augment system, the best way to make sure your augment system to level this up is make sure that those exabytes that you salvage from gear. Here, let me show you. I'm gonna go to the R&D station. And then this is gear that I don't need anymore because I either have it or I don't need it. So this is exactly what I'm going to tell you. So this is the first level of gear that you would come across when you get into raid. This is the lowest ranking gear you can get. This is the green gear. I don't need it because my gear surpasses that. The blue gear is pretty much the second. See, it was level 229. Now this is level 231. I don't need it. And this is pretty much the third best gear, which is the purple gear, 233. Don't need it. Don't need that. And make sure, because this happened to me a couple days ago. I accidentally salvaged this piece. I had this feet release here, and I accidentally salvaged it before I saved it into my character. You know what I mean? You want to imprint it before you actually complete something else. So the way you would want to do it is, let's say I had the purple gear right here on the feet, and then I had this gear. I didn't save it. You want to make sure you switch it, and then add the mod in your base into your gear before you actually save it. So that way when you save it, the gear that you have from the previous, the purple gear, will be automatically placed in your inventory. And then just salvage it like I just showed you, and then that way you don't make the mistake like I did a couple days ago. Okay, so this is what I do. So for the assembly line, what I did is I went through all the stuff that I kind of don't need and do need. So anything that's enhanced in here is probably either for a style feat or because I wanted my character to look like that at one point. I go down here, and so what I would do is, for this, is if there is a certain level for all this exabytes, what I do is I attach it to this page, so I don't have to scroll down and do this again. I just press triangle, and then everything that I just pressed here will go automatically go to the middle page. I'm gonna go to it right now. I'm just trying to. Alright, so what I do now, so another way too, to make sure that you get the most out of your augment system, you want to make sure that if you're able to update your exabyte, you want to make sure you have those extra material, and where you get those extra material is either in Gotham or Metropolis. And what I do is, or you can get in the broker, but if you want it for free, you will go search for it in the Gotham City and Metropolis. And then you would do this to kind of update the exabyte so it's stronger, so it's a little bit more of a kick to your augments. So those pieces right there, since I don't need them, so you make money. And that's another thing about too, about making money. If you want to necessarily make money and not having to depend on just getting money for your PSN and stuff to actually try to sell replay badges, or some people do, the best way to do that is go to your broker. Anything that you don't need or don't want, the best way to make sure that you make the best investment into what you're selling is everything you have in your category, in your inventory list that you're going to try to sell in the broker. For example, this exabyte, let's see how much it is. So it's worth about 30k, right? 300k basically, and everybody wants it. And this is basically for either a tank or DPS because of the restoration, basically restoring, like, basically either a boost to your tank or your DPS. That's how I see it. And I don't need it, so I'm gonna be selling it for 290k. Because if you sell it a little bit cheaper than the competition, you're more likely gonna sell your product. You know what I mean? This chair, let's see. This chair is worth $500, not worth it, I'm not gonna sell it. This one is expensive right now, for example. See? And I'm actually gonna be nice. Sell this for this much. 5 mil, almost 6 mil, but I'm gonna give a little discount on it, and more than likely that somebody's gonna buy that. So, because people are gonna need it. Sometimes they need to update their gear and stuff, or sometimes they need to update their armor, which is the exo. This is what the exo is for, you know. See, dominance. This is for a tank. And just the whole point of it is just to make money, you know. This is the best way. And the reason why I have so much space is because I expanded my inventory space in the marketplace, but that's an option. And usually when the my waivers, it starts at, I believe 25. It gives you auction space of 25 spaces to sell your items, but I can expand it so I can sell more all at once. 10. So, and then it helps me kind of keep control and keep track of my inventory. It helps me manage it better, because that way I don't have to worry about the space. See, this one, for example, this one is might based, so it's basically for DPS. So people that are DPS is pretty much going to be looking for this. Like, for example, so at first, these enhancement gear pieces are expensive at first when they first come out. See, for example, they start at this price. They start at like $1 million and stuff like that because of the brand new content. But like after a month or two, it will go back to being really cheap at 5,000, 1,000. You know what I mean? It just all depends on like the person itself, because the person either trying to be selfish, or other reasons. But trying to make money, trying to hustle. But other than that, sometimes if you don't want to deal with that, just wait a little longer and you'll get your collections. So this is worth that. So I'm gonna say 20. I really don't need all these supplies and items, so I'm just trying to just sell it as cheap as possible, but also not try to rip myself off. Because the more considerate you are, the more likely you're gonna sell what you're trying to sell. Precision. That's another DPS exobyte. And I don't need that, so I'm gonna sell it. See, this exobyte is expensive because it's a lot, and the way you can tell is experience is 9,789, and that's usually one of the highest. But the Mark 13 is the highest, I believe, right now. So they're selling it for 800,000 basically. So I'm gonna do it this way. Because when people see it in the broker a lot cheaper than the competition, you're gonna sell your product a lot faster, because you're not kind of consistently overthinking on how much to sell it for or whatever. But if you do it this way, you'll be fine. You'll make your money. You do have to invest in money, because sometimes you don't sell it right away, but it's a sacrifice. So let me see. And sometimes it's rewarding too, So let me see. 95. I'm gonna say 92. And it helps me keep track of my inventory space, so this helps. See, like this, right? For example, nobody's gonna buy that dirty metal trash can. And if it's an item for a base item, if you want to look into it, what I have to do is just press square to preview, and it shows you what it looks like. And I'm not gonna even sell it because it's pointless. This could be because nobody's selling it, and it's the actual feet. I'm gonna sell it for $1 million. Let's see if I can sell it for $1 million. Let's see. Another thing. See, another person. I'm gonna actually put that in my base, in my league hall, because I'm trying to actually put more designs in it. See, for example, this one. This one was worth a lot before, because it was new content and people didn't know what to price it. But now, since it's constantly like available, people are making it really cheap for everybody else, you know. Let's say 3,000. So I'm at 27 right now, at 55. The belt, let's see, 8,000. So I'm gonna sell it for 5,700. So, like, you see how many items I sold so far? I try to make sure that I can actually make an investment. If I don't even worry about it so much. So, like, everybody's selling that, so I'm gonna sell it for 900. I kind of try to make it as cheap as possible, so people can try to at least try to have an attempt to buy it. You know what I mean? And this one is, I think, for, I'm gonna say, controller. I'm not really sure because I don't use these. So I'm gonna just go over here. Yeah, anything you don't need.
Wayne Enterprises has been contracted to supply gear to our heroic allies. Take a look.
That's another thing too. If you don't need the collection or the item, just like that's really cheap, just get rid of it. Give it to him. But if it is valuable, I would recommend saving it if you really kind of need the money. And let me just get this. My league hall, so I can try to get items more custom to the league. And I gotta do more designs. I'm working on that. I'm not gonna put this in my league hall. I don't like to put junk in there, like stupid stuff, like instead of it's broken or damaged or whatever. I know it's part of the look, but still, I don't want to do that. Those, if it says already collected and you really can't do much with it, you can't salvage the gear or nothing, just delete it. Because there's no need to waste your space on that, you know? Let's see what else to get rid of. Okay, so, yeah, so what I recommend if you want to level up your artifacts, just keep saving these F metal. You know what I mean? Until you really are ready to update your artifacts, make sure they're all balanced. Make sure they're not overlapping one another. And to get those here, I didn't explain this part yet. So the best way to accomplish the capsules to break the seal, you need these pretty much these stones in order to break the seal for the level. So the next level for this one is 120. It's at 107. Oh, no, 105, right? Yeah, it's at 105. But throughout the time that you're getting really close to your artifact breaking the seal, you're gonna make sure that let's say you need 1,000 points to get at 120, right? Let's say you're 1,000. You have all those stones to break the seal. You kind of want to make sure that you kind of have, instead of 1,000 points, 1,000 infinite points, you want to make sure you have about at least to break the seal for at least from that level. I would say, I'm gonna say 10,000, because sometimes when you don't break the seal, it won't go through, and then it'll break those stones that you collected. And the way you should get the stones without having to purchase them in the broker.
Bollocks! Do I look like your mum? What are you going on about?
I need to buy some anyway. Let me actually do it until I get to
bloody heroes. Bloody villains. I think Brainiac is doing us all a favor by thinning the herd.
Okay, so what I need to do is once you get this catalyst, it gives you the levels that you need for your artifacts. So this is what I recommend. Every time you get those points, save them enough so you can get it, and they're 10 points a box. So I need it for level 20, 120. So with this part, just to kind of make sure that you're doing the right one, you want to make sure it's all level 20. So speed, force, energy is pretty much what you need, and you need 6 of those. Superior speed, force, energy, and that one. So you need 3 of these different ones. And the way I do it is to make sure I have it, is I do this. effects again, and you see, so I don't need no more of those. Completely done. I just need these two, so I need 2 more of those and 3 of these, so 5 in total. So I'm gonna go back to the catalyst. Okay, and then I'm gonna go back to just double check. And I got them all. You see? And then until the point where you have to level it up. Remember, see how I just need 3,234 just to get to 106? Exact same thing like I was explaining earlier. If you're at 120, let me actually get close to it. Hold on. Alright, let's say this was 120 instead of 107. See how you're really close to getting it? You only need 299. You want to surpass that. You want to make sure that you have at least 2 or 5,000 in order to break the seal. Because even though you have these can break if it doesn't break. So if you have enough nth metal to break the seal, it'll tell you on top of the catalyst. It'll tell you the percentage. It'll tell you 20%, 40%, 60. If it passes 60% and you have what are these? I see. Open this. Saving for the next artifact. Oh, and I sold an item too, so remember how I showed those things in the auction? Let's see what I sold so far. See how I sold that? Somebody wanted that? People are willing to buy it if it's up for the right price. If it's outrageous, you're not gonna sell anything. Yeah, this is pretty much everything that advice I can give you guys. Let me see something. Thanks for watching. Appreciate you watching. Have a good day. Catch you on later.